Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to the Reel McCoy. I'm your host, Meffistoe, and with me always my hetero life mate, all my feelings. Good evening to you, sir.
Good
What
evening.
is the Reel McCoy, you might ask? The Reel McCoy is not very simple. God damn it, I missed it again. The Reel McCoy is a weekly movie podcast where we ask you to go and watch a movie. You watch it, come back to us, and we break it down, geek on it, nerd on it, and just tear it all apart and swing it back into the mixer to blend it yet again. Then throw it to the wood chipper and enjoy ourselves very much. This week, we asked you to go and
Like two in
watch.
a row. It's like it's twice this week.
Don't start with me, boo. This week, we asked you to go and watch Man of the Year as a part of our November kind of political month that we set up for the whole American and Israeli election. Apparently, it went out like that, even though we kind of chose this about 8 months ago or something.
So, no, it
Right?
was.
It's about
I think
4 or 5
we
months
selected
ago.
this back in. I think it was in May because it was the 5th
Yeah.
of November. It's like, oh, V for Vendetta.
It was way before the Israeli elections were actually set up. Right, before we dive into everything, if you want to interact with the show, you can always at me on Twitter at Meffistoe. You can always at me on Instagram at Meffistoe79. And you can always email the show with any suggestions you've got to the Real McCoy podcast at gmail.com. Blam! That's done, dusted. Robin Williams' fifth movie that we cover for Robin Williams. Apparently, he's our favorite actor of all times because we keep going back.
Well, there's also a lot of hit or miss.
Oh
in
yeah,
his catalog so far that we've covered.
Oh yeah. So
this one is a big fat miss.
Depending on who you ask.
Yeah,
because I really enjoyed this movie. Watched it a week ago. Watched it with my wife as just a fun little watch. Then rewatched it again, a little bit more critical to catch up on different things. Caught a few things that I kind of forgot from the first viewing, and of course, when I did the edit, it's kind of a half watch, I guess. Really enjoyed myself all throughout the viewing experience. I know you have not. You have not.
And it's nothing about any political themes. It's just the fact that what I told you backstage was, quite frankly, you could watch Robin Williams live on Broadway from 2002, Robin Williams Weapons of Self-Destruction, or any Lewis Black special.
Yeah, from 2006, 9, 8. It's after this movie, I think.
I know it got released in 2007, and then it got an actual CD release in 2009. But anyway, what's more important is just the fact that all of the jokes that were said by Robin Williams, they're in those specials.
I'm aware.
Every single one of them. So I'm sitting there, I'm doing a rehash, and you know what a big fan of Robin Williams I am. I'm like, the first time I watched the film, Weapons of Self-Destruction hadn't been released yet. So it was still kind of fresh. To me, this was just a man telling a rehash of jokes. And also, he makes the same joke on 3 separate occasions.
I caught that. I'm a Robin Williams joke aficionado, so I caught that. I'm guessing one of those times should have been cut and maybe replaced with something else in this specific scene.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
I can't just I would rather go watch those specials than watch this movie. Because I think what this movie does is it tries to make, 1, political satire, 2, a political thriller, and 3, a romantic comedy. Try to blend them all together. It doesn't work for me at all. In any way, shape, or form. I think they took too much and mashed it all together.
The only knock I have for this movie before we kind of dive into kind of behind the scenes bit is a lot of the scenes were a little bit too drawn.
Very much
so they tried in some of the scenes they tried to create some sort of a thriller, but it just took a little bit too long and it wasn't snappy. And in the other scenes where we had exposition dumps or revelations or all that stuff, they were a little bit too drawn. Maybe that,
Yeah.
like when I put it put it for the first time when I watched it with my wife, I put it in. I said I clicked play, and immediately the first thing that came into mind is this a 2.5 hour movie? I don't remember it being that long. I think it's like 220. Let me
No, I don't know
see.
what cut you watched. Mine was only an hour and 53.
Oh, hour 50. That's head of state. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Head of state. That's head of state.
those are two
Sorry, sorry,
different
sorry,
films.
sorry, 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 sorry. What we watched them both not back to back, but like Monday, Tuesday, or Tuesday,
Yeah.
Wednesday.
No. I could see
Yeah,
wondering
it's
why Head of
but
State is that long because really?
yes.
Huh?
Also, this one is almost 2 hours, and I thought it was like an hour and a half flat. So for me, I loved it
Yeah.
the first time I watched it. I still love it. Again, my criticism is the, you know, we'll get to it. But before we do all the other stuff, so a quick disclaimer for the YouTube gods and Susan Wojcicki. We do not endorse anything political.
No.
We are not political. We don't have any political affiliation. Everything that we say or do is related to it's strictly for this movie
We're
and a little bit
critiquing
of
the
it.
film, and
We're
we're also
critiquing
critiquing the mentality of the times, which is
exactly.
fair to do in retrospect. It's
Thank
actually
you.
it's about revision. It's not revisionist history, but it's commenting on history itself
Especially
and the way
because
things were,
this is a
especially in
political sat
2006. Yeah,
exactly. This is also political satire,
tired.
and with every satire, it points to real life problems that whoever wrote the script noticed and incorporated the same thing into the script.
Yes,
So a lot of stuff that is said is based on real life concerns and problems that are still today. This is why I particularly push for this particular movie, because of the issues that are being satirized. Okay, so
that's fair. That's
yeah,
fair.
disclaimer done. I have a few examples, but again, I'm not endorsing any which side. I'm just
Yeah, we're
pointing
not. Yeah.
the technical problems that something occurs. Anyway, if you watch the movie, you know what I'm talking about. So, without further ado, we go to All My Feelings and we get the lowdown on everything behind the screens.
Production take two.
I didn't fuck up the stinger. Go.
Good job. So, as we talked about backstage, this is going to be probably our shortest behind the screen segment of all time because it's very, very limited stuff. I have some bits that to talk about during the review of the film, but
Sure.
the rest of it's very, very small. So originally, the director, Barry Levinson, he wanted Howard Stern to play Dobbs.
Okay. Any
But
particular reason?
Stern had to turn it down because it was during the debut of his radio show on Sirius.
Okay.
His move.
Oh,
Yeah.
yep. The move.
Yeah.
How
The
much did
move.
he get for the original contract? About
Oh,
650 million or something?
it was just an
Crazy.
astronomical amount of money. It
Yeah.
was crazy.
Yeah.
That was also 2005 money when he signed the contract. So
Yeah.
now it's like 1.1 billion or something
Oh,
due
yeah,
to
something
inflation.
insane.
But anyway, so again, just easy stuff. $20 million budget, 41.2 million gross. So a good return on investment. ROI is
Especially because
solid.
it's not a blockbuster that
Sure,
you spend a lot
no.
of PR money
I think
on.
it topped at number 3 in the box office.
Wow.
So it's very
That's actually amazing, but okay.
yeah. um, easy stuff. Kellogg and Mills. They're based off of the cereal brands.
Yes, I did notice that.
Yeah. Universal canceled the release of the DVD in Germany on 2 separate occasions
Okay.
due to massive dubbing issues where the dub would not align with the words that were being said, so it was all off kilter by about 15 seconds.
Because of Robin Williams talking fast?
Partly because of that, and also because they could not get the dubbing track to work with the master cut.
That's a weird problem. Okay.
Yeah. It got canceled, but given the popularity of the Clinton-Obama debates during the Democratic 2008 political election,
Okay.
in Germany, they were watching it. It was viral in Germany.
The debate?
Yeah.
How does it tie into the movie?
Then they decided to re-release it.
Oh,
to
because
catch
of
on the
okay,
fervor.
I get it. Because of the real life debate that was Obama, Clinton, Democratic Party, who's the candidate, that's when they re-released and did the DVD. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Dum here. Got it.
One little bit, Dobbs goes on a little bit of a rant later on where he talks about misogyny and racial tensions.
Yeah.
Racial tensions is not only a play on the fact of obviously racial tensions, but Rachel Tensions, who was RuPaul's character in To Wong Fu, Thank You for Everything, Love Julie Newmar, who Robin Williams was actually in as John Jacob
John Jack
Jingleheimer-Schmidt.
Jingleheimer Schmidt. I'm rethinking June, but that's a side dish.
Yeah, it's a deep cut. There's some other
it's
ones
a
here.
real deep
So,
cut.
there is a photo of the deer presented in the manager's office of the hotel where Ellie is staying, and it is actually in the same frame and lit the same way as the poster of the Deer Hunter, starring Mr. Christopher Walken.
Yes. Okay. I get it.
Yes. The laundromat where Dobbs goes to vote was Papa's laundromat.
Is it something?
Papa's was the character that Robin Williams played in House of D in 2004, a film that came out 6 months prior to pre-production.
Okay. Weird, but I get it. Anything else?
The one line where Christopher Walken says a line about training elephants in the circus.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher Walken actually did work in a circus.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Was that pre Natalie Wood going in the water, or?
Yeah. Like
okay. Like way in the past. Okay.
Way ago.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're probably very young. Go look it up.
Very young. Very young.
This is even before my time, and I'm fucking old. Right?
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else, or
then
we'll
all the rest of behind the screens, the rest of behind the screens is basically like, yeah, they basically just ripped off all the jokes off of two different comedy specials of Robin Williams's and also one of Lewis Black's, and just threw them in there and went, all right, just let's go.
Okay, so because we don't want to go through the entire movie altogether, we'll touch upon a few points. So the first point for me, because let's just say the start of the movie goes really fast from what happened, and I'll mention it in a moment, what happened straight into we're already in the race. So the whole point of the movie is Robin Williams is some sort of talk show host, style Jimmy Fallon, whatever, one of those shows. Okay, one of those late night talk show hosts, which I don't know, I think they're dying, but you tell me.
Yeah, but in many ways he's more of a political satirist too.
Yeah, more like I don't know, closer to David Letterman type.
No, he's more of a Jon Stewart.
Oh yeah,
Bill Maher. That's what they are, because they have there are vignettes, there are segments that, especially in the Daily Show, but when Jon Stewart was there, Now I really don't watch it so much anymore. It's just because I don't really care for the new host of the Daily Show. I don't find him even moderately humorous.
You and me both. When Stewart left, that's where I
that's just that. Well,
off.
Again, but that's just my taste in comedy. I mean, that's some people find him absolutely hilarious, and that's perfectly fine.
Let's just say
I don't care.
Let's just say we're friends for a reason.
Yeah.
But
anyway, especially given that time too, and also Lewis Black was a part of the Daily Show at the time. So
yes,
kind of interesting.
I loved his segments. That's a whole different thing.
And
that's why I love Lewis Black.
They do even get brought up later, especially during when Jack has the heart attack when he's in the hospital bed, where one of the political commentators are like, well, people are saying that they don't get the news from the news anymore. They get it from people like Jon Stewart, like Bill Maher, like
they mentioned them. I think they mentioned them by name, but he mentioned
them. They mentioned them actually by name. Yes. By name.
Especially 2006. That's not the height of Jon Stewart, but definitely up there.
Well, yeah, because it's right near the end when he was about to quit, too.
Yeah, like the height of Jon Stewart, I think, came around the Iraq War, I think.
Yes.
Where it's Mesopotamia. Do you remember those segments?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of before, but anyway. So
which again, it's always hard to think of Jon Stewart without thinking of Half-Baked. Man, you see, look at the back of the dollar bill. Look at him. You can see him. The red team go.
So the whole point is he's a political satirist and a host, and he gets asked, why do you keep complaining about things and you bring up like good solutions? Why don't you run? And with one of the guests is like, why don't I run?
Well, maybe you should run for president.
He immediately goes and runs to the president. Now I didn't remember this, but they said he was on 13 ballots. I had to go and check. If your name is only on 13 ballots, which means your name only appears in 13 different states. If you take all of these states, you are the president of the United States. Because that's how electorate works.
The Electoral College works. Yeah, it's a fucked up system. Yeah, the popular vote means jack fucking all. If you don't live in certain states, that's just categorically true.
And it's kind of weird. It's like, why not 50 states? Because he doesn't need them. So he can focus on 13. That's technical stuff.
I do have to admit, though, I think that was the most. I give Barry Levinson that credit on that, because I think that was by far the best bit of social political commentary that he had in the entire film. really because how someone who is a dark horse green candidate, independent,
as in new,
also a fresh,
not
everything too. Not the Green Party. No.
No. I mean, like green as in never done like politics,
never led office or anything. Yeah. Could be on the ballot for 13 states, and then him winning those 13. It didn't matter what the other votes were. That was kind of ingenious political commentary in itself, on how really, if you think about it, it's kind of like almost how when you get down to even stuff about senatorial debates, about gerrymandering and everything, how easily corruptible the American political system really is, where
on
a lot of people
both
feel
sides, ladies and gentlemen, on both sides.
It is categorically just completely fucked up. I'm not saying like one party is guilty of it or another party is. No, it is just at its core, it is completely fucked up. And the fact that Barry was able to make it so this comedian coming out of nowhere, only being allowed to get votes in these 13 states, but he knows that they would have enough electoral votes to get him the presidency. That's, I think, is the best bit of political satire in the film.
And to me, the first thing that when I watched this movie and rewatching it again, kind of reminded me a movie that we covered by not Matt Groening but Mike Judge.
Yeah.
Idiocracy, where you had a president, although it is set in the future, you had a president that was not a politician. He came from basically porn and wrestling to
Yes,
become
Macho
the president.
Camacho.
Macho Camacho, our
But
favorite
in so
president of
many
all time.
ways, if you think about it, though, this film, given it does have a very, very specific political scant. That is very
Yes.
true. We won't say what it is, but if
Yeah.
you watch the film, you're like, yep, yeah, I know where you're going with this. I know. What's so funny is with Donald Trump, I mean,
It's kind of
sometime life imitates art, my friend.
yes, that was exactly where I was going, where we kind of said the same kind of thing about Macho Camacho when we talked about Idiocracy, kind of manifests itself over here, where we have a comedian, or let's say a TV personality. Let's call it a
Yeah.
TV personality
Well, he
that
builds
is
up a
not a
cult of
politician.
personality. That's what it is. It's a
Yeah,
cult of
it's a
personality
cult.
that
Yeah,
gets built up
exactly.
behind him. That's what it is.
Exactly. And we go straight into the race, and of course, he's experiencing difficulties. And the difficulties are, once he starts running, he is trying to act like a politician. And
Yeah.
everyone around him, including his manager, Christopher Walken, which I again don't remember the actual character's name.
His name is Jack Mencken.
Jack Mencken. Okay, Jack Mencken. So his manager is like, you need to like be yourself. Start being yourself, because that's what's appealing about you. Stop talking about just the subject. Mix
Well,
it
and
up.
also too, nobody ever thought he had a chance. It was all supposed to be a giant fucking lark. And at the end of the day, like, even Lewis Black's character Eddie Langston says, God, if he wins, I'm out of a job. It's a good thing I have job security.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I think he said it on their tour bus or something like that. Came up. They go all over the place. So the like scenes go. The same talks can be either on the bus,
I think it was
or in an office.
It was after that one town hall meeting where it was Walken who says the line. It's like trying to get laid but forgetting to bring a girl along.
Yes. And they keep pushing him to the fact that, oh, you need to be yourself, do your thing, because that's the thing that draws the crowds, being in that cult of personality.
I was like, the only other side bit in there is the whole Ellie bit where she's the one who she finds the flaw in the code that comes up as the political thriller side of it. But yeah, anyway,
so we'll touch upon that. So quick check. There is a big tech company,
Delacroix
Systems, that they do the entire voting,
which they should have actually spelled it with the OIX. Yes.
Delacroix. Yeah.
Delacroix.
So we have a tech giant, a manifested, not real one for purposes, and they control the entire voting system in the United States. So they do all the voting, and all the votes are being electronically made. So no ballots, no punching the hole, no one of those
hanging
slot
chads,
machine votes, none of that. We have learned our lesson from 2000. It's kind of I think that's what they were going for. Maybe
it's a joke on it, because they even mentioned the hanging chad in there.
They did? I missed that. Again, it seemed to me that they were like, oh, this is much safer. We're going to get results immediately because it's electronic. We know exactly where it's going. Basically, that's Barry Levinson's, I think, critique on the whole voting system as it is right now, where you guys had a lot of issues, not just this year and 2020 and 2016 and 2012 and 2010 and every couple of years.
Too, it's every single time that there is a political candidate loses, there are no gracious winners in a political fight anymore. It's always recounts, recounts. There could be issues of voter fraud. There could be issues of voter tampering, or missing ballots, or et cetera, or ballots that hadn't been counted yet prior
Yeah.
to calling numbers. That can happen, but in the majority of the situations, it's more just like, I lost and I should have won. Me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's most of it is down to that.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm happy to say during the last election, I was actually invited to be on a podcast that did an all night election watch, and I was there for like the last hour and a half of the stream.
I'm sorry.
Hey. And the only reason I was there, because I'm like an outsider, I came in and was like, dude, this is how you do it. Let me tell you about how we do it.
Yeah.
And I talked and people were absolutely shocked. I'm not going to go into the technicality of how we do it, but
Do it in Israel.
when I said how we do it and how stuff is checked, they were amazed. You guys don't even know. Let's just say ID numbers are not racist, and I'll leave it at that.
Yes, that's completely fair. See, it's impossible to commit voter fraud if you have a unique identifying number. Like, oh yeah, your social security number, which they already give you in the United States when you're born. So why can't you just have to vote by your social security number? Therefore, you cannot commit voter fraud. And also, a dead person couldn't vote. You know why? It would go back to the social security number. It's not a name anymore. Oh.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna add anything else.
I am in simpatico with you 100%.
I was weirded out because I was weirded out, and I was like, all I'm explaining to you is literally 7th grade civics class.
Yeah, it's so.
That's all I did, and people were amazed. You would not even believe. And this is what I'm talking about. The whole electronic voting system, the whole deal is, I'm giving you a solution. And I'm talking about the context of this movie, of course.
Mm-hmm.
The Delacroix systems were some sort of an answer that was written in the script to combat those old kind of slot machine, punch a hole systems. They were like, yeah, why can't we have, after an hour the polls are closed, why can't we have an electronic system counting the votes and just like blurting out an answer? Is it this guy voted or this guy voted? That's the whole deal. And within that system, we have a worker. I think she's not like top rank, but she's one of the people who work on the behind the scenes or behind the screens systems. And she runs a full-on election deal with major numbers, not just small numbers. And she finds a bug in the system that she can't explain. She knows there is a bug in the system, but she can't explain how physically it actually works. She goes to her to her bosses.
She
and
emails the CEO.
She
about
emails.
Says,
she emails her bosses.
Listen, there's an issue here that we need to fix immediately.
But I don't know how to fix it. But we have to do it before election day. Otherwise, our system will give the wrong answer. She doesn't know which answer she'll give, but she knows it's going to be the wrong answer. She doesn't know what it is. And of course, she is being, let's say, swept under the rug. And she finds that very offensive, to say the least.
And then there was, in between, right after she got swept under the rug just by the email alone, then we go to everything set up with the debate, which I thought Lewis Black had, again, this is one part of his comedy routine. One of I think it was from 2004 that he had. I think it wasn't Back in Black. I think it was Bigger and Blacker was Chris Rock. I can't remember the name of the special.
Dude,
but
I've seen all of them. They're all fucking funny.
Yes, but it's a lot of people like, watching the debates. Do you think anybody watches for the issues? Do you think anybody cares about the issues?
Yes, that's exactly what he said to Dobbs, to Robin
Yeah.
Williams'
And
character.
which is pertinent. What I found so funny too is the fact that they played Hurdy Gurdy Man before the setup of it, which that song has a special place on my heart thanks to a show called You're the Worst. Because at one point in time, the neighbor kid that keeps bugging Jimmy and Gretchen, his father gets to his wife leaves him. It's like, yeah, my dad quit his job. He locks himself in his room, drinks himself alone, and plays Hurdy Gurdy Man on repeat all day long. I haven't eaten in 3 days.
My God. So the thing is, once Dobbs takes the stage, everything is kind of settled into like what you would expect from a debate.
Yeah, because
And
he even
even
mocks it. They
yeah,
mock it before. Like they're gonna say, "Well, thank you," and I really also want to say thank you to my family, my wife, and my children for being so understanding. Without their support, I wouldn't be where I am today. And it's like they both say the exact same thing, and it's the exact same critique that Lewis Black's character Eddie and Jack, Christopher
and
Walken's character, had
yeah.
prior to the debate.
And the funny thing is, all that came up in my head is God bless America, ain't no place else. And I was like, no, that's a different movie. That's a different movie.
Yes,
That's in
yeah,
2 weeks. Don't worry about it. Okay,
yep.
let's keep going. The thing is with this little picture, everybody's smiling. This is where Robin Williams Dobbs, the comedian, gets going. He breaks protocol at one point and he goes into this spiel where even the moderator can't
Can't keep a
even
hold.
stop
I will
can't
say
stop him.
just real quick. Eddie Lewis Black character has a great line that he says when the senator, the Republican candidate, not the president, uh, was say was thanking all of his family and everything. He says, "This guy smiles so much, it's starting to upset me."
Yeah.
And then,
uh
well, Robin Williams again. The whole thing with weapons of self destruction and everything. That whole line, that whole monologue that he has
yeah.
up there, that's from that. And like the illusion of security and all the jokes that were interlaid throughout that. That's all in
Yeah.
that special.
Yeah.
There are
I
a couple that
remember.
were pulled from 2002s, especially the Brazilian one, the Brazilian
What?
Pope joke. The ding 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 ding. Yeah, that was from 2002's Broadway special. But yeah,
Okay. I got that too. Yes, I know a lot of repeat jokes were in this, but if you're just a moviegoer,
I would say if you have
you
not
would
watched those
miss
two
those.
prior to, if you have not seen any of those specials prior to watching this film, especially on a review, I think you would genuinely enjoy this film a lot more. Because to me, it felt like such a cop out. It felt to me like, wow, all they did was they lifted his act, went cut and pasted it in.
Oh, okay. I get where you're coming from. To me, you know what? It didn't really bother me that much.
Yeah.
It's you know what? You can say, well, in terms of the last I don't know, 15 years, a lot of Robin Williams jokes are repeat. There's a bank of jokes and a lot of them do get repeat especially in the last 10 years. So I it's kind of hard for me to say, well, it's a cop out, so they kind of wrote his jokes in. Plus, you would imagine that Robin Williams, especially in a movie like this,
Oh,
in
he worked with Barry on this, and like,
in
so I
certain
want you to
points,
utilize all of these jokes
in
and tie
certain
them in. Yeah.
points, Barry Levinson would have said, well, this is a point where we stick to the script because maybe it's a dramatical moment, maybe it's a thriller moment. But when it comes to like, okay, let loose, Robin can literally ad lib that entire scene
Yeah.
and it would fit because let's say the debate scene when he goes off, I'm pretty sure that was ad libbed. And the only guidelines is to the moderator, the actress who played the moderator and the actors who played the president and the
The
I think
senator,
it's a
yeah.
Republican as the
Yeah, the Republican
senator.
senator, yeah.
their guidance is try and stop him, but
him.
don't
Let
actually
him
stop
go.
him.
Yeah.
So, but let
Well,
him
the
go
thing
and
is-
let Robin just fire up on
And
all.
I think
cylinders.
that's why, like, if in most sets of circumstances, people would watch this, especially if they haven't seen any of the specials. Which I'm going to keep harking on that point, and
I
that's
know.
again, that's the thing that stuck in my craw with this film so badly on a re-review.
Yeah, when they're done with the debate, our boy gets a heart attack. Once I think they're already in their like their headquarters of where they do their campaigning.
No,
not
they
on
were
the
actually
bus.
walking outside.
Oh, they were
of
walking
where
outside.
the
Yeah,
debate
yeah, yeah,
was,
that's right.
and he starts because they were having they're having a conversation, and Walken stops and he starts getting short of breath and he starts having a heart attack.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
of course, Dobbs is there, even though it's like the last couple of days before, or the day before, or maybe a week before, but on the day of the election, he actually stays in the room with.
Yeah, that's election night. That comes up later.
Yeah, that's a little bit
Well,
later.
because in between the whole bit too, there is one question that I had.
Sure.
Because for the life of me, I rewatched the film twice over the last week. Who the hell was his running mate?
Yeah, I know. There was nobody. And you have to have a running mate.
They never said. And one of the, after he gets, obviously he wins the election, they're talking about his cabinet. It's like, and he says, "I don't know. Ask my running mate about that." And it's like, well, what would your running mate think? It's like, yeah, we thought we had no chance in hell. Like, who was your running mate?
Okay, cool. We're gonna manually stop here, and we're gonna do our first segment of the night. It is called Missing Marquee. Missing Marquees, we have 10 posters, have their text written off. We display them in Oh My Feelings, and our no guest. Oh, shit. No guest, and absolutely nobody in the chat who talks. There's a couple of people here. We display them and let Oh My Feelings guess which movie this is. Ba-blam.
Metropolis?
No. Good guess,
Dark
though.
Man? No, Dark City.
No, Dark City, correct.
Yeah. Equilibrium?
Equilibrium.
Oh, fuck you, James Bond, you dirty... I don't know. The spy who go fucks himself.
No.
You can skip this, because you know I'm not going to get it.
Oh, honestly, who throws a
shoe?
Who throws a shoe? It's not Octopussy Biffer. So, which one it is?
It's not the man with the golden gun, is it?
It's not the man with the golden gun.
Goldfinger?
Goldfinger, correct.
Okay. Last Action Hero.
Last Action Hero.
Oh God, that was the remake of
terrible.
Lost in Space.
Lost in Space.
Why am I drawing a blank on this? Oh God, I love this movie too.
You definitely know this movie.
I know this movie. Definitely
know this. Oh, you missed it, Biffer. It's not Galaxy Quest. Close. God. Good call, though.
Rain Man. Why did I just blank on
correct.
Rain Man? Seven Samurai.
Seven Samurais. You're the only one who knows that poster.
Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing.
Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs.
V for Vendetta.
Correct, sir.
If it wasn't for the stupid James Bond film, that would have been one of the fastest.
It would have been, but it's not.
And there were some deep cuts on that one, too.
Correct. By the way, last time
I put Rain Man. Why did I pulled a Rain Man on Rain Man.
You know what's funny? Last time I put Dark City, you said Metropolis as well.
Because the cover looks like fucking Metropolis.
It does. It actually it was specifically done to look like a a
like
reimagined
Franz
version
Legacy
of Metropolis. Correct.
Which, by the way, we have to cover that movie at some point in time.
Yeah, I guess.
Because God, it's a good movie.
You know what? Before we actually bring that up, because I was having a personal week, as you can tell.
Yes. Still adorable, by the way.
Yes, I know. Where was I going to? Yes, my daughter actually came over yesterday while I was working on something on the PC, and she was like, "Daddy, why don't you cover Harry Potter movies?" And I was like, I've got 52 weeks of the year. 2 of them, I'm definitely not doing a podcast, which are technically the 2 times you're away, or 3 basically.
3 times,
July, Thanksgiving, and Christmas.
Yes.
And that means there's only certain amount of movies, and we have a list going up to June. I don't think Harry Potter is in the cards for the next couple of years if we still do this in a couple of years.
Well, hey, all I can say is if you want to do Harry Potter, you can do those on the weeks that I'm out. Yeah, it's going to take you a long goddamn time to do it, but...
The answer is no. And you do know we have some stuff going on while you're away, just for this year. This year.
Yeah.
But to be continued. Cool. Do you want to jump straight into election night?
I was going to go with the whole thing with there is the montage. Because even this movie has a montage.
Yes, this montage, right?
The one with him going on tour.
Oh,
like,
that's right.
I'm back, and then he's just like, hey, here's all Robin Williams' jokes.
There. Yes, this one. Where it cuts away
they're not
from
even speeches. They're just his comedy routine. Or they would be for his character, as everyone calls him, a comedian, because they don't refer to him as a late night stand-up host or a political commentator or anything like that. They always refer to him as a comedian. Even the political commentators refer to him as a comedian during elections.
And he has a great line at the end. Do you want to pull it? We'll pull it up here. He says, well, I'm the jester. I'm supposed to make fun
of the end. I'm supposed to make fun of the king. Yeah.
I'm supposed to make fun of the king, not sit on the throne.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we're also getting this bit while he goes to vote, where it's like, okay, this is how simple it can be. Look, it's even has a touch screen in 2006.
Yeah, which...
Hey, that's all I'm saying.
All I'm saying is that was supposed to be the new way that it was mandated. Do you know how many millions, if not even $1 billion, they would have had to install those at different locations across the entire United States?
I am
touch
aware.
Screens in 2006 at thousands of locations, if not near on tens of thousands of locations per state to vote. That's an astronomical amount of money. They would have had to, like, oh god, the money is just mind-boggling. Want to talk about a waste of an expense? I mean,
not that anybody from us knows anything about that sort of stuff. Nobody knows about that sort of stuff doing certain works in certain places.
It's not kind of like
I'm talking about Mrs. Meth. I'm just talking about Mrs. Meth. The one thing we do get on election night is Lauren Linney's character coming up while they're celebrating.
Okay, what a waste of Jeff Goldblum. Oh my god.
I know, but he's doing a great job.
He is chewing up scenery.
He is much more charismatic than the guy playing the CEO, but maybe it's planned that way. So Jeff Goldblum is the Delacroix's head lawyer.
He's a legal defense. His name is Stewart, by the way.
It doesn't really. It's Jeff Goldblum playing Jeff
That's
Goldblum in a Jeff Goldblum movie,
Yeah.
and he kindly explains to her in his Jeff
Well,
Goldblum
he'll keep saying like, well,
intonation.
what do you think of, like, even if this was a flaw, even if this wasn't all it would do is undermine the opinion of the American people that their votes actually don't matter. So you'd only make the problem worse. You would also defund the company. You would lose all of your coworkers and colleagues, all of their jobs. For what? Over a flaw that you tested once?
Yeah,
Think about this. Think about this.
he's doing what a lawyer would do.
Dude,
I wish we had.
yeah.
I wish we had Nick on or some other lawyer. That would have been great.
That would have just been like perfect.
That would have been
Like
great.
showing him all. Well, it's just all of the ramifications, giving her the domino effect, immediately going. So if you cast doubt on this, and even if that wasn't the actual issue, but if they were to find one other flaw, it would cast doubt on the entire system. Thus, casting doubt on this, thus causing all the stock prices to dip, thus causing massive layoffs, thus.
Yeah, he lays out the domino effect of what she is doing to the company, and exposing everything. And all she says is like, "Yes, but we could have tried and fix it before everything happened." And she's being, dismissed.
Well, at that point in time,
immediately they go into action to make sure she is,
and this is why
discredited.
This is the major thing that bugged me, was the political, the thriller portion of the film. It didn't need to be interjected in the way that it was. It could have been done in a very simple way by undermining her work, thus discrediting anything she has to say about the project.
Yeah, but they went into more of the closest I have in terms of like political intrigue and all that stuff is, to me, Enemy of the State with Gene Hackman and Fresh Prince.
Yes.
Fresh Prince and Will Smith.
Yes.
Right?
Well, and the other thing too is
just
Laura
the
Linney
intrigue. Not the actual like.
The thing is, Laura Linney was actually in a political thriller right after this film too. So,
which one?
I can't remember the name of it now.
Never mind.
It wasn't good, but
okay.
Anyway, moving on.
So, and we do have another montage because everybody loves the montage, and at the end of it, you see Dobbs next to his manager.
Jack,
he brought him wine and cheese.
He basically brought him a French charcuterie board.
Yeah,
because he's like, because he even says like, "What goes with wine? Pate."
Yeah, and it's like, it's definitely not supposed to be there after a heart attack, especially the wine. But okay,
no, the wine wouldn't be so bad. It's
the cheese,
and the liver pate. No, no.
Okay.
No.
Anyway,
no.
And you get the announcement of the first time a comedian is elected president.
Yeah.
They emphasize the word comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of gives you a little bit of gravitas. Of course, you do get to see that the little scene where Lauren Linney's character is laying down on her bed watching the results, and there's a black bag individual sent by Creedy, I know, to drug her. And when she goes to work the next day, she's pumped full of benzenoids and whatever.
Was it benzedrine
and
morphine,
whatever.
Cocaine? It's like, this would have killed that just bit of cocktails. It's a massive speedball, and for a woman that has never done drugs in her life, she would have died.
Yeah,
she'd be dead.
Yeah,
there's no way around it.
I thought the same, but then I thought, well, maybe it was just microdosing, but no, I don't think so.
And also that chemical, that bit of cocktails and the chemical cocktail that she had,
would have got out of her body by the time she awakes for work.
And not all of it. Some of it, like the cocaine, out of her system.
Yes. Yes. It
The
would have
major
been
thing, though, is
traced. No, it would have been traced in her blood, but not affect her to the way it
it was like she
affected
wouldn't have been
her.
acting
Yeah.
so irritability. Like her irritability was just off the charts. What's so funny is, why didn't she act so irritable and crazy while she was taking a shower? When she even noticed the pinprick in her arm. And why didn't she notice the fact that she was drugged in the middle of the night? You don't just
Yeah.
wake up and go, I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to go to work. I forgot about being assaulted at night.
I mean, did they put also GHB in her to forget what she did last night?
Well, the thing is, with GHB, it takes time to take effect. So you would remember the fact that you got assaulted.
I know.
Loopholes.
Yes, but you can find those in every movie.
We
You
have
can find
that,
those in every single. The thing is with loopholes, some of them are so overt it literally shatters your whole kind of maintaining of the storyline.
Yeah.
Where we've seen it lately a lot, but some loopholes are like, it's like to me, it's one of those loopholes in the story where if you just not look deep down in it, it won't bother you. Just like, let's say, a revolver shooting 10 rounds rather than just 6. Okay?
Yeah, well, you're so invested in the scene at that point in time. You're more invested about the characters that are involved, especially in action sequences. You just want the good guy to kill the bad guys. That's all you want.
And
You're not doing round counts. I know.
Yeah, but in this, you're invested in how crazy she's acting and how like stupidly, like how that little shot kind of affected her without her being remembering everything. It's like if you let that go, you're into it. It's like, oh my God, they did that to her. And she can't even remember they did that to her. Oh, she's acting crazy and now she gets fired. That's where if you're staying on that storyline and not going into like, oh, they just shot her off with a cocktail that could literally kill a small animal.
Well,
So
I mean, that kind of cocktail would even kill a good Jim Belushi in his his days. So
I like the fact that Dobbs goes to Congress where he's not supposed to as well. He even says that I'm not even supposed to be here. I just thought it would be fun.
No. He said, like, I didn't schedule this, which it's fine because it was supposed to be like him trying to make a surprise visit to Congress,
but
which again, it's shown right there.
And he the one thing he says is like, yeah, let's keep this quiet. It's just between me, you, and the world media.
Yeah.
And which got me to chuckle several times. But yeah, he is very self-aware of what he's doing as Dobbs, as I'm the comedian here, but I'm been given this job. I'm going to do it my way. It's after the debate where he's really going into
because he
being
already
Dobbs.
won, so it's already done. It's set in stone that he's going to be the new president-elect. So far, as from what we know.
So they're having this little celebration, and of course, he gets to meet.
Oh, I was going to say with the other thing too is her friend, Ellie's friend, Dan.
Yeah.
What a piece of shit!
Oh yeah.
This is the first time he turns his back on her, not believing her the fact that she was dosed. It's like with the myriad of chemicals in her system, she would have been way worse than what she was to begin with. Obviously, also dead, but her friend wouldn't even believe the fact. It's like, I've never done drugs. You know this about me. And then he mentions also, I'm getting this promotion. I'm going to Ireland where we're going to test the Delacroix systems for the UK elections.
Yes.
And then I think later on they mentioned the fact that England is now adopting the Delacroix system.
Yes.
Yeah.
They do. It's kind of a lot of information is kind of sewn in to the movie while you're going from scene to scene. So sort of a transition.
Yeah.
And that's how you get, so the stock numbers for Delacroix, all that stuff that is like adjacent and in the media, that's the story you're getting. And you're moving on to the next scene where you got the first meeting between Dobbs and
Ellie.
Ellie.
Yeah. I was going to say that the one thing that's really interesting about this, it already sets up the dichotomy of Dobbs and the rest of the political system, because inherently he seems like a genuinely good person.
Yes.
Outside of just being the affable comedian that we're supposed to root for, he genuinely, like, his interaction, especially with Ellie from the beginning, are all based off of him trusting people on how he perceives them, not on what they might actually be. Especially with Ellie, because she shows up with the fake FBI badge at Jack's birthday party.
The thing is, when she comes in and she tells them she's not really FBI, or she is not really FBI. I don't know if she tells them that point while they're dancing.
No, because he says, because he tells her, "You're not FBI.
I pre-flagged you.
Yeah,
that's why you were able to come anywhere close to me.
Yeah,
even as FBI.
Yeah.
And once he gets that little information, it's stuck in his mind. He even calls the Delacroix CEO, and the CEO is like, yeah, she's been fired because she took a lot of drugs and she was psychotic.
And they have that moment where they have that whole, Jinx, you owe me a Coke moment, where they both go, can you tell me where she is?
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, she is still tapped into the system, and lo and behold, she goes into this motel. She finds out what was the deal. The deal was, it's all about the letters. So you have 2 L's on Kellogg, 2 L's on Mills, but you also have double G's on Kellogg, so the G's
would win.
are better than the double L's. But Dobbs, because it's a new variable, has 2 B's. So the 2 B's
would supersede all of them. Yeah.
All of them. And that's why Dobbs was elected. And when she finds out about this, that's where shit kind of,
well, because it was even before that
iffy.
Where Ellie actually calls her friend again and tells him that, hey, I met him.
Yeah.
She didn't tell him what the glitch was because she hadn't found that out yet.
No. But that's before.
But Dan keeps saying, don't keep pushing this. Just let it go.
Yeah. Yeah. Whether it's because I thought in every single viewing, I thought he was just trying to keep his job.
He is.
Rather than,
that and the massive promotion that he got.
Yeah, it's like, he's not being disingenuous as a friend. He's being disingenuous because he wants to make more money.
Yes, he's in the greater realm of self-preservation here. He does not give a shit about Ellie.
Yeah, which means they were never friends. They were just co-workers.
Yes.
And I think she realized that as soon as they got off that call.
No, it was after the glitch call. But we're going to get to that.
Yeah. So once she does know about the thing, there's
one bit in there that everyone needs to watch once just because of how absolutely fucking stupid it is. The Billy Crystal Robert De Niro commercial that was on the TV in Ellie's apartment. That was, not joking, a post 9/11 tourism commercial for New York. Yeah.
Really? Was that a real commercial?
That was a real commercial.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Later, he goes like, well, you're turkey? What? You gobbling at me? You gobbling at me is a line in that commercial.
A Thanksgiving kind of tourism for New York.
Yeah.
Was real.
It
I
was
thought it
real.
was fucking fake.
No, it was real.
Okay, cool. When what was it during the same time as Analyze That or Analyze This?
No, it was
That came in later?
Analyze This was the first one, which was 2001, and Analyze That was 2003, I think.
See?
But it was after that. So it was post 9/11, but it was a tourism commercial for
Okay.
the state. So it was just
So the thing is, I didn't
it's
get
so bad.
I didn't get two things in this scene. A, why would they allow the president-elect to be at a paintball kind of game?
Why would they put him in an open field with other people that are utilizing guns that could actually be real? Wow, that's stupid. And there are only, what, 2 or 3 Secret Service agents that are monitoring
There's like
the situation.
5 all around in the perimeter. You can see them all around the perimeter laughing, by the way.
Like, this is
And the
yeah.
second thing is, how did they let Ellie even get on this thing? I get that it's everybody from their staff, they're like the people who were in the campaign. That they've seen the Secret Service. Secret Service knows exactly who these people are. But Ellie, I'm guessing it's the same deal where Dobbs kind of flagged her in because he likes her. He's into her. That's about it.
Yeah. Because that's where, again, the romantic comedy bit plays off. Where, again, those 3 things that I said before, it's supposed to be a political satire, political thriller, and also a romantic comedy. And you try to force those 3 together, and there are just so many things where it's like, this would not work at all.
Yeah. The thing is, Dobbs does confront her at a certain point.
Well, because they were talking about, she mentions the fact that, like, how she lost her job, and everything's like, well, I spoke with the CEO.
Yeah.
And Ellie thinks that, oh, maybe, and he said, well, I know about the things. So it's like maybe the CEO revealed that there was a problem with the system. He's like, oh, no, your drug problem.
Yeah, and she's a bit apprehensive, I would say.
Well, no,
Yeah,
she's confrontational after that, because, like, well, no, I don't do drugs. I never have. And Dobbs' whole thing, again, going back about him being just generally just a good person. I'm saying, like, I don't care what your past is. It's okay. That's your past.
Yeah, and
move forward.
the thing is, he still believes her, even though he's like, yeah, I believe you that you found something wrong, but I do believe that you have maybe a former drug problem as well. So he's very trustworthy for a guy who's supposed to be cynical towards the world. I would imagine a comedian. All comedians have some sort of a cynical way of looking at the world in order to draw their, like, oh, this is a funny situation because I can see it in a different light.
That's fair.
Okay. Well, maybe just the good ones. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe just the good ones.
I was going to say, too, that Lewis Black, I think, has probably one of the best little one-line zingers prior to the Thanksgiving bit, where they're watching a bit of C-SPAN. He's like, look, none of Congress, no one's there. And he's like, well, yeah, they have vacations to go on, brought to you by all the lobbyists, or they have lobbyists to go talk to about getting further vacations from said lobbyists.
Yep, exactly.
And then he says, this makes golf look like porn.
I do love Lewis Black. I do love Lewis Black. But in that little conversation after the dinner where he's been truthful, she's been truthful, she's like, you're not the president-elect.
And so, like, I had to tell you. It's like, and he asked her flat out, what do you want me to do with this? I can't prove anything. Even if Dobbs being a good man, still, even if he were to say anything, it wouldn't matter because he can't prove shit. He could cast an investigative light into the system, but who else would have the records to actually crack Delacroix's system? Delacroix. They're the only ones that would have the records in order to actually go back and find the files in order to.
And the thing is, they do have before that happened. He kind of talked to Mencken,
Jack. Yeah.
Jack. He's like, she dumped an information on me. It's like, what am I going to do with it? I have to go to the press. And Jack is like, why go to the press?
Yeah.
What would it do? It won't do anything. You're still the president elect. There is another
Mark
conversation
Twain at that point in time too, and it's the first time that Mark Twain is quoted in the film. Because Dobbs quotes it later, but it's like the only truth between the only difference between truth and fiction is the fact that fiction has to be believable. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I think so. So it's not the first. It's the first time he says, what are you going to do with it? It's like, no one's going to believe you. And Dobbs is like, I need to try. So he actually has a conversation. It's like, I'm going to go to the press. I'm going to go to the press
conference. Yeah.
But before the press conference ever happens, he's calling her on the phone, but her phone is already tapped.
No, thing is, she calls Dan, her friend, and says, I told him about the glitch.
Yes,
he knows everything.
Yes.
Because she is still this fucking naive. This is when she gets the whole big duh moment where it's like, yeah, my friend maybe isn't my friend anymore.
Yeah.
And he records it, gives it to Stewart, Jeff Goldblum's character, and the CEO.
And he comes out and he just heads it off at the pass. There were a little bit
like,
we know there's things happening, but nothing really affected the vote. So
no. Stewart says, if anything, it was based off of her obsession with Tom Dobbs. Putting it all on Ellie.
Yeah,
But he does go back on saying that there is nothing wrong with the system. She was just obsessed with.
Yes, it's not like he's basically taking the blame, but he's not really taking the blame. But he puts all the blame on Ellie, a crazed, obsessed worker that has drug problems. Blah 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 blah. And we got fired, and we got rid of her before she got to the systems. Right.
Well, the thing is, where he even mentions he opens it up, time to clean house a little bit. I think that is a terminology or turn of phrase he utilizes. The thing is, it's actually kind of ingenious because this way, no one's going to look into the allegations that Ellie might have because they all believe that they're fabricated under her obsession with Tom Dobbs, undermining anything that Ellie has ever told Tom Dobbs. So,
and anything that Tom Dobbs does in a future, some sort of a press conference, which he is forced to kind of,
which he never does.
He never does because they have that little moment where his thing. So Lewis Black or Ed.
Yeah, Edward. Eddie. Because Eddie even mentions a line about his ex-wife and his succubus. Yeah, succubus. It's a demon who just sucks the essence from a young man. I was in the succubus once, and I loved Jack. Christopher Walken's character looks at Eddie and goes, just stop.
Yeah. The thing is, that line is from Lewis Black's stand-up.
Yeah, it is.
So, and I was like, okay, I get you. You got one. You got one good joke in.
Well, he got several actually, but
yeah, I know. But you got one good one. One good one. So Ellie kind of finds out about, she has a moment where she goes to the vending machine. It doesn't work. She goes to the guy and is like, that vending machine is not working. Plus, he mentioned something about her uncle or
because he even mentions the fact that he saw her on TV. He's like, yeah, you're Eleanor. Oh God, last name,
whatever her name is.
I've got it. Eleanor Green. You're Eleanor Green.
Yeah.
But and also, did your uncle get in touch with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he called here and I said that you were out of your room apparently, but
And
you'd been here
when
all
she
day.
goes to her room, she sees that the door's open, then there's two
Then-
people in the room, so she immediately flees. And it cuts to Dobbs doing a speech, which I particularly loved because he did his old like Clinton spiel,
Mhm.
where it's like I love that bit because he says, "Well, I've not been in office yet, but I already got an allegation with the
Yeah,
woman."
I already have an allegation.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I didn't have sex with that woman.
I
I
wanted
wanted
to.
to.
And I was like, yes, thank you, Robin.
But
Thank
see,
you.
that makes sense because he even says it's like he does this to follow because I'm single. I mean,
Yeah, it's like, yeah,
duh.
I'm allowed. I wanted to. It's like it's not like it's not allowed. And it comes to the point where he basically says it, but he doesn't say it, and everybody's there to support him. And he doesn't renege on. He doesn't say, "Well, I have to step down." He doesn't say anything about it. Sounds like he has a criticism on what she said to him. She kind of reveals his process, but he sort of like stays with what Jack told him.
Yeah,
Don't rock the boat, don't do anything. It won't do any good anyways because nobody would actually believe you.
review. Yeah. Well, and also there the other thing too is that the whole setup right after that, where he is now just saying the truth, but in a subtle way that is you wouldn't quite get if you didn't understand what he was trying to say. That is really pertinent in his meeting with President Kellogg right after that
Yes,
at the Oval
yeah, that's
Office.
exactly where I wanted to go. Go ahead.
Because right there, while he does have that conversation with Ellie while she's running around and losing her mind, because to him, think about it, it does seem like she's a crazy person. These people are after me, they're following me, they're from Delacroix, and all the like.
Yeah,
For all
there's
intents and purposes,
when they go to the White House, him and Eddie are in the car, and he's like grabbing a phone. It's like, oh, just fucking,
no,
she's
he's actually
losing.
he's in the Oval Office on the
No,
phone
oh
with the
yeah,
president.
yeah. That's right,
Yeah,
that's right.
the president's going, "Hey, by the way, I have stuff to do still before you
Yeah,
take over." Like,
yeah. That's where it's like, oh, he's grabbing the phone. It's like, oh, where are you right now? It's like, let's do this. There's he discussed the same thing with Eddie on the way to the White House, where Eddie's like, just let it go, let her go. Just don't
it's like
get
you
into
can't.
it.
Well, the thing is, too, to be fair, a lot of the people that had said these issues, um, that were just proven to be for a I would say lack of a better term, it would seem that Ellie is kind of this obsessive conspiratorial nut job to everyone around in his camp, who is
Yeah.
just trying to feed him this one line of rhetoric that, for all intents and purposes, isn't true because even the company itself had come out and said, look at all the toxicology reports and everything. And they even got it. Remember, they showed him the toxicology reports.
Yeah.
Look, like she was pilled up to the gills. I mean, she was drugged out of her fucking mind. Like, well, the line that was said by Robin Williams, but was apropos. They're like, the only thing she wasn't on was roller skates.
Yes. Which made me laugh because it's an old Robin Williams joke
Joke. Yeah.
from like the 80s.
80s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the whole bit of them doubting that.
Yeah, they're
then
in the car afterwards in
car.
the evening
No,
where it's
but it was when Dobbs is leaving the office
yeah.
talking to President Kellogg. He says, he basically just alludes to the fact that he was not elected properly. He
Yeah.
reveals the truth to the president at the time, but it's in an undermining way without flat out just stating the fact.
Yes.
Because he said, I think
it-
the president said, I have to hand it to you. I didn't think you had a chance And he says, well, you know what? To be honest with you, I didn't.
Exactly. Which is an underhanded way of saying, well, maybe
I
you
didn't
guys
mean.
should, maybe you guys should check
Yeah.
this out because, yeah,
I will
exactly.
say the only other funny thing bit is with Ellie and the kiosk lady with the cell phone.
Yes.
Oh, that, out of any joke in the entire film, that made me laugh out loud.
Really?
Like, what a bitch. Oh,
Yeah.
what a bitch.
Yeah, I
Like,
know.
this phone's only a year old. Yeah, it's a year old. We don't cover that
anymore. Did it touch you in an inappropriate spot? Like,
no, it was.
Yeah, because it hurts. Dude, my phone is a year plus old, and my wife said, "Oh yeah, your phone is fucking old." It's like, we just got this fucking phone. What are you talking about? God damn it! Holy hell! Yeah, it did hit me in the same spot it hit you.
So no, from here on out, then. So this is what you have to say: is, hey, wifey, my graphics card is technically 2 years old. I mean, it's old. I need a new one.
Don't mess with it. Don't mess with it.
Hey, there.
Like Martin Lawrence said, don't break up a happy home, man. Don't break up a happy home. So Ellie gets grabbed. She manages to get away and calls Dobbs on the phone. He's trying to see where she's at, but she is so erratic because
and
somebody's after her.
Yeah.
But Dobbs is like, he is torn because he really wants to believe her. He actually believes her, but her demeanor is so erratic and so crazy because on the whole, you wouldn't think that you've been been sent with black bag people in the United States. That's not how we do things, right? It's democracy. There's no people running out the streets, but it's not the CIA, it's not the FBI. It's actually people working for Delacroix. It's
Well, and what's funny too is on top of that, it wasn't just the fact that it wasn't people just making accusations that she was on drugs. They actually had the toxicology report from the hospital confirming the fact that she was on said drugs.
Said meds, we'll call them. But of course, she gets run off the car doesn't actually hit her. The car hits the phone booth she narrowly escapes. She does get hurt.
Okay.
She runs to the thing where I don't know.
I have to roll back real quick. So the guy in the truck is on the phone with Stewart. And Stewart keeps saying, if you listen carefully, he's actually in the background saying, I don't know why she's running. We're going to offer her a whole bunch of money as a payment. Why does she keep running? It's like, I don't know, because you almost tried to kill her once.
Yeah. Hey, loopholes are loopholes, man. She gets run off the road, and on her last breath, she gives him the double L's before
double G, double B's.
But he doesn't make sense of it because they didn't actually talk about the actual glitch. She just mentions there is a glitch. She doesn't mention how it actually works. And because she hasn't at this point...
Well, she starts to mention it. She mentions like because they both had double L's. But Kellogg had double G's, you had double B's, so you won.
Yeah.
But it mentions it like in that brief moment, but then the accident happens. He's also the president of the elect of the United States. He's also supposed to go on Saturday Night Live in a couple of hours. So yeah, you can kind of forgive someone for getting a minor fact like that.
And that talk in the hangar before he boards the plane, it's like nothing. It's like, I think he says on the come 20th of January, you will be the president.
You'll be in the White
House.
Nothing
can change that. Yeah, nothing can change that. Unless...
Except for massive voter fraud.
Yeah, exactly. And now we go into SNL, and at the time, SNL was big with Tina Fey.
Well,
and
what's funny
Amy.
is too, but you have to remember that Dobbs turned around and he saw that the other private jet in the hangar was a Delacroix jet.
Delacroix jet.
That was the impetus of him to be like, oh, Ellie wasn't lying. Now I gotta tell the people. So, yeah, this is when this was Tina Fey and Amy Schumer were on the
Amy
Weekend Update.
Poehler.
Yeah,
Amy
Poehler.
Schumer was
Amy.
not on
sorry, I don't.
not on
I don't
SNL.
like.
I don't like either of them. But
They're
okay.
both blonde ladies. One was
Yeah.
in a good series, Parks and Recreation,
and the other one's on 30 Rock.
Yeah. No, I meant between the two Amy's.
Oh, yeah, Amy Schumer is something else.
Sorry.
Ugh is the right word. It comes from Jewish. It's ugh. Never mind. Never mind. It's the old Yiddish saying, ugh.
Yeah. So again, the SNL, the whole, it starts off with, again, more old Robin Williams lines. Even that Hitler joke was an old Robin Williams joke.
Yes, I noticed.
Yeah.
I did notice the Hitler joke. Yes, it came up, and yes, it's funny.
I hope nothing happened to him.
So they have some sort of a not on the record, but on the cue card stuff, jokes that they've pre-prepared. And then he goes off and he also said, oh, the cue card guy is going like, and that's another Robin Williams joke, by the way.
Yeah.
He uses that every so often when he goes ad lib. And that's where he comes with the line of, I've discovered these sort of things. Eleanor is this and this and this and that. And he tells the truth. And he says, well, I wasn't even supposed to be elected. I'm the comedian. I'm the jester. The jester isn't supposed to be the king. He's supposed to make fun of the king. And
what's so funny too is this is so pertinent, especially to the upcoming presidential election at the time, which was going to be Obama.
Bush. No, Obama.
Because this is 2006.
Obama versus McCain. Yes.
The thing is, where he says, but a lot of you voted for me, and I appreciate that. But what you voted for was change for the sake of change. You shouldn't do that. What did Obama run on? What was his big slogan?
I know. I remember. It's time for a change. I know. The messaging, remember who made the movie, remember their inclinations, remember everything. And yes, of course. But they do give that line where don't just vote just for change's sake. Because it's still a satirical moment. It's still a criticism on government, about elections, about the whole process. They're talking about the process itself rather than just specific this side or that side, which is good.
Well, that and also the underpinnings that are the inherent corruption that is in the system, where he always brings it up. And again, this is unilateral. It's not to one party or another. About lobbyists be like, well, it costs so much money to run a campaign. They fund the campaign. Who's in your back pocket? Who owes you money? That's what all the oil industry, the big tech,
the sugar industry, big tech, everything, all the big lobbyists. Yeah.
So you can go back and then you're like, well, we got you elected, so just saying, maybe pass this one bill. It's really not that bad. I mean, look at it.
And the thing is,
we're only going to bulldoze this playground full of children and puppies. It's okay.
And the thing is, it's not just the American system. Every Western system
has it,
where you talk about democracy. That's exactly how they work. With depending on the local corruption, there is some sort of corruption. There's always some sort of corruption. It really depends on how much and how the laws are set up to immunize yourself from that particular thing.
And I was going to say too, and the fact
And
that
nobody's perfect, by the way.
yes,
Nobody
well,
has
yeah,
got it
nobody's
down
perfect.
perfect.
Yeah, nobody does. And the one of the major issues too is it is said in the satire as well, and it also one of the big proponents of why Dobbs is considered why kind of this like paragon of virtue, for lack of a better term, is the fact that they mentioned the fact that it costs so much money to run, but Dobbs hasn't spent a cent
Yes, which means he's not committed to
to any special
specific
interest
side.
groups.
Yeah, special interest groups, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Cool. Before we do the whole summary and everything, we have a small little segment to go through, which would be a little bit longer today because we have time. It is called Screen Fighter.
Round 1. Fight.
Screen Fighter for the uninitiated is we take two movies, pit them together, and see which one is the best one. If there's no discernible difference between the two, both of them are good, both of them are bad, we fall into our criteria, which is Saturday evening, Friday evening, out with the boys, out with the girls, out with a significant other. We got two movies in a vacuum. Which one will we pop in? Bablam. Straight up.
Oh God, that's too easy.
Straight up Spielberg. Let's go.
Yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark. I mean, that's easy.
Are you sure? And not just because it's a wonderful Japanese poster.
Well, it's a fantastic one, but also it's the better of the two projects. I mean,
I completely agree. I am not a Jurassic Park guy.
well,
And
also the Lost World is not that great. So
it's the second one. It still had Jeff Goldblum in it and most of the original cast.
Was it the second or was that the third one?
That's the second one. I checked. Well, it was basically Jurassic Park 2. Amelie.
Ooh.
Or
that's
Nightmare
a fantastic
on
Amelie
Elm Street,
poster.
Original. That's a fucking amazing
Nightmare on Elm Street poster.
Amazing Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh my God. I want that as a tattoo almost. That is a gorgeous film. Yeah, I have to go Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean,
Nightmare on Elm Street for me too. Amelie is a good movie. It has its detractors. It is good. Not as good.
Can you do me a favor? Can you save that image and send it to me? I have to send it over.
Which one? This one?
Yeah. Because trying to find that would be probably very goddamn difficult later.
Yes. Done. Saved.
I have to send it over to Fisty. So.
Oh, cool. That's okay. Cool. Blades of Glory. Have seen it.
Yes, I know.
Or
it's actually
Dark Knight Rises.
Oddly enough, I do believe that is that's one of two comedy films that Jenna Fisher was in outside of her role as Pam in The Office, because she was also in Slither, which not a lot of people remember. She was the police dummy receptionist in Slither. But Blades of Glory is goddamn awful. Dark Knight Rises was also bad too. But I have to go with The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, you like to go with the first Dark Knight Rises.
You know, in so many ways, Bane and The Dark Knight Rises, think of Bane and just play the sounds of the adults and Charlie Brown, and you will laugh hysterically.
Yep, exactly. The Full Monty, a movie that time has forgotten, or Edward Scissorhands with Johnny
The Full
Depp.
Monty was a big deal when it came out.
It did. It was a
huge deal.
Hot. It made the careers of I think it's 4 out of the 8 main guys made their careers. So Full Monty or Edward Scissorhands. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Out of these two, I would go Full Monty from this. It's a little bit slower than Edward Scissorhands, has less kind of bombastic, kind of weird stuff that Tim Burton has, which I personally love. But on the whole, I would say I would go for the Full Monty for the pure enjoyment of a full-on movie and a I wouldn't say a redemption story, but kind of a coming of age of down and out, trodden, middle-aged men.
I would definitely go with the full Monty, just because, again, given the criteria that we have. If I'm going to
Yes.
watch a film to sit down and actually enjoy it, I would rather watch the full Monty. Edward Scissorhands in No Way, Shape, or Form is a bad film. It's such a slow burn. It's so bombastic and campy
And
that
it's super dark.
it
Like,
is.
dark and really depressing at times.
The ending of that film is just wow.
Really,
Okay. Wow.
really depressing. It's still, I think I like it more than you, but you have to be in a certain mood to watch it. And when you have these two in a vacuum, I would definitely go
Definitely
the full Monty.
Yeah.
The Illusionist or Man on the Moon.
We're going to talk about Man on the Moon again. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Man on the Moon. I wholeheartedly dislike The Illusionist. I watched The Illusionist, not when it came out. I watched it after The Prestige, which came out a couple of years after. And I thought, well, how did I not watch The Illusionist? Is it one of those things where Hollywood comes out with practically the same movie at the same time? I was like, no.
Like Armageddon and Deep Impact. No,
Exactly.
It's not that.
This
case.
is, and I thought it was the same case, but maybe The Illusionist came first, and I didn't even notice. It's about 3 years or 2 years apart, and I was like, okay, The Illusionist is definitely not The Prestige. Man on the Moon is fucking fantastic. It is my favorite Jim Carrey dramatic role ever. Better than Truman Show. Better than Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Yes.
Better than The Majestic. Yeah.
Better than The Majestic. Yes.
Better than the number 23. Of course it is. That movie's shit.
I know maybe it's not your favorite like dramatic role for
him. No, his is always going to be Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, because I love that film.
I know.
It is a very close number 2, and it's up there as one of my favorite biopics of all time. That's a movie month we have to do is biopic month. We have not done that yet.
We will. Have you seen
right up on that list?
Have you seen the trailer for the Whitney Houston biopic? That's going to be a doozy, but I'm going to wait for it to come on streaming. I don't think I'm going to watch it. Like, it's not a movie I'll watch on the big screen. I don't think so. So Man on the Moon. Sleepy Hollow. Talk about Tim Burton or Grease. Are you in agreement with me? Sleepy Hollow was not great. Was not a great adaptation of that story.
It was awful.
Have you read the original book?
Yeah.
The original book was fucking creepy, man. Literally.
That was the point of it.
I know. But the creepiness, the horrific story did not transfer well to Tim Burton's adaptation.
No, because Tim Burton had to, again, make it more bombastic and not colorful, but because it wasn't campy. It was just all of the characters' personalities were dialed up to 11, as they always are in any Tim Burton production.
Yeah.
It's Tim Burton and John Waters have the same problem. Where John Waters, when you're watching a John Waters film, like, you're supposed to enjoy how campy and colorful and how bright and bombastic all the characters are. With Tim Burton now, you're supposed to take it seriously as a form of art. No. Yeah. I felt the same way about
Barnabas Jones.
No,
just kidding.
No, the other, I completely forgot the name of the film. The Demon Bar of Fleet Street.
Oh, okay. I forgot.
Yeah.
It's a musical.
Yeah.
They bake the people and they put it in pies.
Pies. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
Side note, spoiler on that one.
Yeah, yeah. Both Johnny Depp too. I don't like musicals, and I don't particularly like Grease. I do enjoy some of the songs in it, but on the whole, I don't like the movie. I would watch Grease before I'd watch Sleepy Hollow.
That's fair.
Criteria or no criteria?
I would say Grease is just slipping in.
Yeah. Curious George. They made a movie, Curious George.
Yeah, they made an animated one.
Oh my god.
Go ahead and put it under. Haven't seen it. Reroll.
I've seen the TV show Curious
There we
George.
go. Now we can talk.
Okay. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation or Sister Act.
Right.
Do you want to go first?
It's got to be Christmas Vacation. Oh god, I love that movie.
Before we covered it on the show, because we did, and I enjoyed myself very much. Before
Trey
I
was
covered
with
it,
us on that one.
I would go Sister Act.
Yeah.
Having covered it, one of my favorite Chevy Chase movies. It's my favorite of the vacation movies. This is my favorite.
Yeah.
It's better than European Vacation, which is my second favorite, and much better than the original Vacation.
And hey, they're all better than Vegas Vacation.
All better than Vegas
Vacation. They're all better than Vegas Vacation.
Although I do enjoy Sister Act, and I do enjoy the story that has been told there, I would put National Vacation, Christmas Vacation. It's like any day.
Good. So good.
Yes, I fucked up that name. Yes.
I
know. Last one. Dodgeball or You Got Served. Easy for me. If you can't dodge wrenches, you can't dodge dodgeballs.
Hey, bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
ESPN 8, The Ocho. And then they make it into a real, actual channel.
Yes, it's Dodgeball.
It's Dodgeball. It's definitely Dodgeball. Cool. So, my friend, we're basically at the end.
You do realize that was the first one we had never disagreed on.
On any of them.
Yeah.
Well,
first time.
Well, we kind of, ignored Saf.
But, well, I was going to say, Meph, you're like a broken clock. You're right twice a day.
Yes. And maybe even 3 times a day, depending. Anyway.
So we have the whole setup again. It goes back to, it cuts back to the interjecting segments that they had before, where Jack is being interviewed, which they never actually showed who is being interviewed by or for what purpose. He's just kind of a narrator.
The whole movie kind of starts with him telling the story of what happened. And he interjects every once in a while. It's not too heavy. He's not really narrating the whole story. He just gives it a little thing, and then it just immediately moves up to the next scene. But we do get sort of the aftermath.
But what's funny too is when he does decide not to run, is all of them on Air Force One flying back. Even the secret security, they're all cheersing with champagne, like, "Yay, you gave up."
Yeah, I know. I think it comes. I think it actually to the relief of the people around Dobbs.
Tim.
So basically, his writing crew, and
Eddie's character, who's like, "Yeah, I don't want to go back to television," because there was one line that Eddie said about TV. TV makes wrote it down. TV scares me. It makes everyone seem credible. You can have a nut job next to a Nobel-winning scientist, and they all seem credible because they're on the same screen at the same time.
I don't think it's something that he talked about on his stand-up. maybe it's
I
something.
think he did that actually in a vignette during Back in Black, which was his segment on The Daily Show at the time.
Oh, maybe,
Yeah.
because it did sound familiar, but it wasn't
Yeah.
on his specials. So maybe it was one of those. I think out of everything that Lewis Black did, I think his segments on the Jon Stewart show
On The Daily Show
were my favorites.
favorite. Yeah. He was one of the, I think that's why Jon Stewart's tenure was more highly regarded than the current tenure, is because of all the people that were on The Daily Show at the time. I mean, look at how many people that came
All of
out
them
of
got
that
a
who
show.
became movie stars.
Like
Or became
Colbert
movie stars.
got a show.
Show.
Samantha Bee got a show. What's his face?
Ed Helms
the English
became a
dude.
Ed Helms. John Oliver got a show.
John Oliver got a show. Ed Helms became
movies
a thing.
and other TV shows. Steve Carell.
Steve Carell and the bald dude. He was in Hot Tub Time Machine. I don't remember his name. I think it's Elliot something.
No, it's Larry.
You know who I'm
something.
talking about. He's a bald, it's a bald white guy. He has this weird face.
I was thinking of the African American gentleman.
No. He did not get a show, but he was on like several.
No, he
movies,
did. He got a show on Comedy Central. Larry, for Larry, was it Fillmore? Something like that. Anyway, no, he had one for a very short period of time on Comedy Central. Yeah, but he had his own show for a little while too.
Let me pull this up. Hot Tub Time Machine.
Oh,
Rob Corday. Rob Corday.
Yeah.
Also he was also on the. He was like the.
He's been in so many of those, and also Rob Riggle, the former Marine.
Yes, that's right. That's
like
right.
Everybody from that show
cycled in that show. Yeah, all cycled.
Even
in that
Wyatt
show.
Cenac. Wyatt Cenac is still doing very well on stand up, and he had a show for a very small period of time.
Okay.
And yeah, it's like everybody who was on The Daily Show during Jon Stewart's tenure, just their career just catapulted off to the moon.
Yeah. So and it ends up with a monologue that Dubs does, basically coming back to his old job, right? He does a monologue about the whole. He literally does the same spiel that he did throughout his campaign. He just does it on the show, chew everybody's laughter, and
Yeah, well, at the end too, it was Jack who mentioned that he hired Ellie on as his production manager, and then they became lovers.
Yeah,
and it's like, so everybody gets a happy ending at the end of it. Everything's a tight round bow. There was the whole bit too about all the people from Delacroix, being in prison.
Being in prison, and good. Just neatly wraps things up with a bow at the end. It's like the bad guys go to prison. The president who was supposed to be elected got elected again.
And they said, well, yeah, and also Kellogg's second term was better. Not good, but better than what we expected. And we like to think that Tom Dobbs had something to do with that.
And that kind of ends the whole movie. Kind of alluding to the fact,
and then it goes
that he kind of
like the vignette on almost like, I wish they would have done the spinning newspaper bit, because that would have been funny to me. That
yes, I know the whole the Batman thing.
But now it shows the Man of the Year with Dobbs painted on when he was in his colonial attire. Yeah.
Which it's on the poster, and it's fucking funny. It's just funny. Anything to add to sum us? We're at the summarizing bit of the whole podcast. So the whole show. I hate calling it a podcast, but it is what it is. Anyway, as per my enjoyment of the movie, like I said, and I will continue to say, I did enjoy the movie on the whole. I put the story loopholes aside. I put the stuff that I didn't like aside. The drawn out scenes sometimes bothered me, especially on the second watch, where it's, you wanted to like, get to the thing, get to what you wanted to say. And it's a little bit drawn off. and certain areas where I thought it would be a little more snappy. I think you can cut at least about 10, 15 minutes away and just say what you wanted to say and get to the point and be done with it and just move on to the next scene. But it is what it is. Still enjoyed it. It's not a 10. It's about a 6 or a 7, just because Lewis Black is in it, Christopher Walken is in it, and Robin Williams is Dobbs.
I mean,
And
the
it
cast
wouldn't work. It wouldn't work if Robin Williams was not Dobbs. I don't see any.
Could you imagine Howard Stern?
But what Howard Stern would have been a fucking disaster.
It would have been.
Have you seen Private Parts?
Yes.
It's terrible. It's on the parts where he's acting himself. Terrible. The one person maybe that could have done a decent job and could replace Robin Williams is maybe Billy Crystal.
Actually, you know what? I think, on that note, I think actually Jon Stewart could have replaced Robin Williams and basically played himself. And the persona that he already has.
Yes,
that could have worked.
Maybe
because Jon Stewart even in his most vitriolic bits didn't have that edge, didn't have that like mean-spirited candor to his rants. Like Bill Maher couldn't have, because Bill Maher always has this aggressive tone.
He's too sarcastic and very, very, very aggressive.
See, with Jon Stewart, especially at the time, I could see him replacing him in that role, and they could have just swapped out, and it would have been fine.
Because
however, they would have had to
rewrite
about half the script, because half the script again was Robin Williams' jokes.
Do you think because Jon Stewart is more of a light-hearted comedy where he points out the bad things, but he makes?
I think it's because it's
lighthearted making fun of them, but very, very, let's call it a palatable way of doing satire.
I would say, his is more satirical for the point of satire. Bill Maher's is more satirical to the point of proving a point.
Well,
if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You can make a joke out of anything just by being satirical about said point. But if you're saying, well, making a satirical joke to back your previous point and then emphasizing that point repeatedly, it's supposed to be more poignant that way. It does work. I give Bill Maher credit on this, because in many ways, I'll put it this way. To Jon Stewart's cuddly little bulldog, Bill Maher is a pit bull.
Okay. Especially a few years back. I think he's gotten a little bit more mellow. Again, not watching too much. The stuff that I've watched in the last couple of years, like, it's a hit or miss.
No, real time is still real time with Bill Maher, and that's the way it's always going to be.
Okay, if you say so. Anyway, before we kind of end the show, we have got a little segment called the short version. Let me set this up. It is a short version of Man of the Year. Let's enjoy this. Well, try.
Here we go. The short version.
It's crazy. A woman in the audience tonight said I should run for president. Maybe I should. Tomorrow, I will officially announce my candidacy for president of the United States.
But late that night, she found something that seemed very wrong.
Why did the president win?
The debate is going to be a night full of pomposity. The air is going to be full of bullshit.
But if you're in bed with oil companies, how could you be talking about fuel efficiencies? I mean, that's like being a kosher pig farmer.
He's getting angry.
If I'm correct, comedian Tom Dobbs has won every state where he's been on the ballot.
Comedian Tom Dobbs wins the Sunshine State. So New York wants a comedian. At 1:23 East Coast time, comedian Tom Dobbs has been elected president of the United States. The free world will now be led by a comedian.
Just let me take care of it for you.
I got it!
It's no.
I got it!
It's just our little secret between you, me, and the world media.
Double B's before double G's.
It's that error that's made you the next president of the United States.
I didn't win.
Not even close.
Tomorrow at 11 o'clock, I'm going to have a press conference and tell the American people that I'm not the legitimate president of the United States. I'm not even president of the United States yet, and I'm involved in a scandal with a woman. I did not have sex with that woman. I wanted to.
Tom, come January 20th, the White House is yours. Nothing can change that. No one can.
While Tom Dobbs has recreated how Thomas Jefferson would have looked if he were crazy.
I'm a jester. A jester doesn't rule the kingdom. He makes fun of the king. Ladies, the best birth control and the cheapest is simply this. But politicians are a lot like diapers. They should be changed frequently and for the same reason. Keep that in mind next time you vote.
That joke about the dick, that's straight
out of
from the 2006 one, 2007 special.
Yeah, the weapons of weapons of self-destruction.
Self-destruction. Yes, yeah. That's the one.
Which, by the way, just quick side note: if you have not seen anybody reviewing this right now, if you have not seen Robin Williams Live on Broadway 2002 or Robin Williams Weapons of Self-Destruction or any of the Lewis Black specials, go watch them. They're fantastic.
They're fantastic.
The same thing too. It's on top of that, like watching any of George Carlin's, you're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, for sure. So next week, before we wrap up the show, next week we want you to go and watch a 1997 movie called Wag the Dog. Now, if you want to talk about politics and the relationship between politics and the media, that is the movie that will disillusion yourself from wipe away your delusions of if you have any choice of things, or maybe you do. Anyway, we will have, I hope, the special guest we have planned.
Fingers crossed, because if we do, it's gonna be something
good,
real special.
She works in media.
Yeah.
She works in media shows, so she will have the media's perspective of it and how everything works behind the scenes. That's going to be fun if she can make it. I'm not going to say who she is because most of you don't actually know who she is, but we'll see. So go watch Wag the Dog and come back to us next week. And on the whole, we will talk about it anyways. If you want to interact with the show, at Meffistoe on Twitter, at Meffistoe79 on Instagram, and of course, always email the show with suggestions, with things that you might want to see us do, and maybe we'll change our order and do them for you if it's that important. But maybe no. Until next week, ladies and gentlemen, thank you and have a great weekend.
Take it easy.